change the thinking of you're building an Etsy business. No, you're building an e-commerce business. I want to start with what Etsy sellers really need to be aware of that are starting on Etsy, but yet don't understand that you are putting all of your eggs in one basket if that's all that you're focusing on. So a little bit of a warning here for anyone that is just starting on Etsy. Yes, Etsy is a great platform. It is one that I promote for people to start on because it takes all of the hurdles out of it, just about all of the hurdles out of the mix, because they are giving you access to traffic. Okay. And that's a big one. I mean, if anyone's ever tried to run Facebook ads or Google ads, YouTube ads, anything, it's a struggle. It's a grind. Okay. And not saying that it's not important and not saying that you won't get there one day, but in the very beginning, no, you want to keep things super simple. Just like if you were selling on Amazon, Amazon is already built. It's already got buyers. It's got traffic. And the other thing is it's a search engine that is created for shoppers, people that already have credit cards on file. So those are all of the, not all of them, there's a lot more, but those are the big ones of why we want to start there. But the warning is here. If you don't start to build your own assets, and I'll get to that here in a second on how you should be building two assets, because if for some reason Etsy decides to either, suspend your account, which has happened, okay, or maybe just ban you completely and you can't ever sell on there, and then you're left with nothing. And I see this a lot where people they call it, they're building an Etsy business. I don't like to say that my wife's shop is an Etsy business. It's an e-commerce business, because I know that this Etsy part is just one part of the business. It's one channel of the business. Now, is it a big channel right now? Yes. But what do you do to reduce the risk? You have to start building assets. And this is something that a lot of people don't realize, and this is something to note, is you can't take your Etsy shop and sell it. Now, you might be thinking, if you're brand new, you're like, well, why would I ever want to do that anyway? Right? If it's doing well, because that's a whole nother avenue. And a lot of people have built e-commerce businesses with the intentions of just selling them after 4 or 5 years. And I've seen businesses get sold for $500,000, $1 million, $10 million, because they've built up a business that is sellable. An Etsy shop is not sellable. Okay. At least right now, they do not allow you to basically say you can sell it and then just let that person have access to your account. And then they change their banking information. They change, their EIN number and all those things. You literally can't do that right now. But what you do have as an asset, and as long as you're doing it in the way that we promote that you do, right, and that we suggest that you do, is if you're building a brand, you're creating products for a customer. And those products, even though they reside on Etsy, they're yours. They're your designs. And yes, if you're doing print on demand, well, they're not your pillows, but you're buying the pillow and putting your design on it in a sense. Okay. It's just better than if you had to buy inventory, but you are literally building a library of products, right? A catalog of products. Now, the problem is they reside on Etsy. So what do we do to take those assets and bring them over to something else? Well, there's plugins out there right now that will take your product listings and import them all over to a Shopify store or an e-commerce store. We've done it with Shopify. So the very first step, even if you're not going to sell on a Shopify store or on an e-commerce store, you probably want to start porting them over. So that would be my first precaution and my first, kind of thing to do before something bad could happen, because now I have all those assets over there. I don't have to go into my Printify and try to find out where everything is and all of that stuff. So that's an asset that a lot of people don't look at. But again, if you're just throwing up random stuff, not much of an asset. But if you're creating products for one customer, yes, those are assets and those are yours. The second asset is an email list. All right. Now, you can't take an email address from your customer that has not given you consent, and you cannot add that to an email list. Can't do it. but you can start collecting those emails in different ways. And we've talked about it here, on other videos, and we've said how we are doing it. Okay. And one way of doing it is to create what we call a VIP club of some kind, where people will get discounts. They'll get maybe launch specials. They'll maybe get a monthly giveaway, things like that. And then what we do is we take that, okay, that little offer, that sign up page that we create. And we do this all in Everbee email, by the way. Little shameless plug here. If you're not using Everbee email, I do recommend them. Email4shops.com. You can get 1 month free. Little shameless plug. But basically, we can now build this page that has a way for them to give us their email address, and it's totally above board with Etsy. And we offer to give them something in return, 25% off discount. Maybe that's what you're going to give them immediately. And then we build that list. And once we have them inside of our Everbee email or whatever provider you want to use, that's yours. If Etsy goes away tomorrow, that's yours. So imagine now I have all my products. They reside on another location, even if I'm not going to be selling there actively right now. And I have an email list that I have control of. If something happens, I could literally turn the lights on over here in 1 day. And all I got to do is take my email list and point them over there. Little bit of a warning, right? Of just putting all your eggs into one basket. But this does start with thinking about your business as a business and as a brand that has cohesive products, that one customer would buy more than just that one product or would come back and buy again. Okay. So those are some things to think about if you're just starting, or if you have already started and you haven't thought about this. Those are some things that you can do right now, or at least start right now, and change the thinking of you're building an Etsy business. No, you're building an e-commerce business.